The countdown is on to one of the biggest nights of the year.
The annual Attitude Awards.
For 13 years, we've been celebrating the outstanding achievements of the disability community in Aotearoa, from artists to athletes, young groundbreakers, employers and support workers, to game changers across the country.
While I'm up here, I'm just going to cross off one on the bucket list, which is a stage dive. Oh, sorry.
I just want to say thank you for the government to ask me to change the law. And I did that to follow my dreams.
We will not stop using our voice to champion for those who can't stand up for themselves and change the lives of Kiwis with disabilities, one cookie at a time.
I really feel the gift that everyone that is being honoured in this room, everyone that has exceeded the expectations that have been placed on them, have given us the gift of joy and laughter and passion. They beyond deserve it more than anybody who ever attended the Oscars.
Every single one of us here has got our different abilities, and we should all get out and make the most of them.
I know what I was like before my accident, and I know how I had my own attitudes, my own stereotypes about disability and disabled people. So to have lived it now and meet the people that I meet within the disability sector, I'm truly humbled.
Who thought a guy in a wheelchair in a band that practices in the lead singer's garage in a tiny country town miles away from anywhere would get to do stuff like this? Rock on!
1, 2, 3, Attitude Awards!
2020 has been a difficult year for everyone in the world, but it's been particularly tough for those in the disability community. In what has been an extraordinary year, some extraordinary people have stood out. Let's meet a few of our finalists for 2020.
I just love the challenge of trying something for the first time and seeing if I could do it. I think that's part of growing up with a disability. You don't necessarily roll with the punches, you just do.
David Winterburn paired a love of vintage furniture with old-fashioned Kiwi ingenuity to create his company, Furniture.
Doing bespoke furniture has taught me woodwork, wood finishing, varnishing, veneer work, furniture creation. I learned that from scratch. Every client wants something completely different from the next client, and I have to give a piece of myself to make sure I can deliver that for them. So yeah, there's a lot of money that goes into every single individual bespoke project that I do.
David lives and works alone in the North Island town of Turangi. Born with spina bifida, his balance and strength are impacted. He's had several reconstructive surgeries and uses crutches to help his mobility. But none of this impacts his carpentry skills.
My main obstacles within the business is the fact that it's a labour-intensive job and the fact that I'm physically disabled. So I have to meet that challenge every single day that I unlock the door and come to work. You have to have a resilience to when something gets hard, and then you have to have a can-do spirit that can get you past that or that you can grow from.
When COVID-19 struck, David started production of PPE masks, which he provided for his local community during the peak of the pandemic.
Some people had a lot of anxiety around this COVID, so they really wanted something to make them feel safe. A couple of businesses bought them as well, and it allowed them to function a little bit better when dealing with clients and customers, so it was good. It was a good feeling.
David's continually expanding his creative ideas, all with an eye on perfection.
For me, it's being able to hone that can-do spirit every single challenge that I meet and just enjoying what you do every single day.
Also going the extra mile during lockdown was Shelley Clark.
Hey, Shell. Hi, how are you? Good. I'm just wondering if I can organise my leave.
Shelley is respected as a calm leader. That approach has been vital in supporting the staff of Southland Disability Enterprises during the COVID-19 pandemic.
I first started here in 2001. I left for a couple of years in 2015 and then I returned in 2017.
Southland Disability Enterprises is Southland's leading recycling service and employs more than 80 people with disabilities.
The most rewarding part about coming to work every day is seeing their faces, their smiles, their laughter, their sense of belonging, and just knowing that we are making a difference.
Are you giving me an invite?
Yeah.
You're inviting me to your party?
Yeah.
When the country went into lockdown, Shelley connected with all the staff to ensure they were individually looked after during the stressful weeks and months.
I organised a few fun activities. I got everyone to take photos of what they'd been up to during lockdown, and we then emailed that out so that all the families and employees could see what the staff had been up to, because a lot of the staff continued to work during lockdown. I was really proud of how they handled it. They were really resilient.
Shelley's supportive leadership style drives company culture throughout the business. She has created a work environment that's more like one big happy family.
Shelley always has a smile on her face. Doesn't matter if she's having a bad day or what, she's always smiling. That helps us as a team to work better, and it makes you feel really good.
Great nephew.
Great nephew.
Great nephew, George.
It's not like getting up to go to work every day. I'm getting up to go see friends and people I value. They're just awesome. Way cooler than mainstream.
Like Shelley, Elizabeth Goodwin recognised that many people would need extra support this year to prevent them feeling alone. Elizabeth's daughter Jessie has severe cerebral palsy and requires round-the-clock care.
My sort of entry into disability began when Jessie stopped breathing one hot South Canterbury night. I resuscitated her and it left her with cerebral palsy. And so I began that journey of discovering this new world of disability.
Elizabeth has spent 30 years as a volunteer on the local IHC committee. As an activist, she champions the inclusion of disabled children at school. And she now works with parents to co-design solutions to their individual challenges.
There's something about being the parent of a disabled child that you do have a bit of a different view of the world.
The COVID-19 lockdown left many parents of disabled children isolated. Elizabeth tirelessly helped people get the support they needed from government and other agencies, and connected families by setting up a community Facebook page, Awhi at Home.
We were all in that sort of state of anxiety and all running around trying to do the best we could. We had lots of information pushed on us. So we worked really hard to make unique information, and we experimented with things like send a video.
Elizabeth continues collaborating to create social change by informing, connecting and nurturing parents linked by disability. Actioning social change is also the passion of Grace Stratton, who lives with cerebral palsy herself.
I was kind of always taught that if you see a problem, you don't sit and complain about the problem, you set out to solve the issue.
21-year-old Grace has established herself as an entrepreneur on a grand social mission.
Disabled people shouldn't have to minimise their disability to succeed or quell parts of their identity in order to fit in.
As co-founder of All Is For All, she has a clear strategy and knows a strong social media presence is key. It started modestly, challenging giants of the fashion industry to factor disability into their designs.
Fashion has a lot of weight and ability to bring forth messages in the world. If we're using fashion as a way to speak about people and the planet, we also need to be using it as a way to talk about the need for accessibility for disabled people.
Within a year, All Is For All had captured the attention of the fashion industry. Disabled models featured in New Zealand Fashion Week. Grace now works closely with established Kiwi fashion brands like Ruby, guiding them to blend fashion and accessibility features as a matter of good business practice.
I think there was certainly a want and a will for brands to be inclusive, but they probably weren't so sure how to navigate that. So that kind of instance, I was like, well, what if we just helped people in fashion understand more about how to cater to this consumer? The most important thing to me is how we're paying it forward and making sure that lots of people are rising with us.
Her dedicated mahi has led to large international brands turning their attention to accessible design.
We have clients in Aussie, we have some clients in the US, and so certainly the goal is to expand the business and have it be international. We're just in the middle of making sure that the expansions we do honour the disability community and also making sure that what we bring to the rest of the world is the best of New Zealand. Being able to see more disabled people proud of who they are is exactly why we started the business.
In between her business and media goals, Grace is studying a double degree in law and communications.
To be an entrepreneur, I think it takes an acknowledgement of your responsibility and also standing your ground and not watering down what you believe in.
Another finalist devoting her time and energy to help create a more inclusive society is Sheridan Jackson.
Is we're going to do some goals and you're going to think about what goals you want to set for yourself.
Sheridan was at university when she first explored how she could help people with disabilities into employment.
We've found that the process of applying for a job, getting employment, is sometimes a lot more difficult for young people with disabilities. That's not on them, that's more on the system and on the process. Seeing now some of our young people move into employment, being a part of their journey in that process, that's been really awesome.
As a program coordinator for Recreate, Sheridan now heads the Moxie program, developing the work skills of young Kiwis with an intellectual disability, then helping them find meaningful employment.
We tailor the program to each employer and to each individual that's coming on the program. That allows the employer to get to know the young person well, and it's all supported by the Recreate staff. It means that we can build those relationships between a work experience team member and an employer, and then hope that they move into paid, meaningful employment.
Sheridan's taken things a step further, boldly encouraging adults with a range of learning difficulties to create their own social enterprises.
My driving passion would definitely have to be the young people themselves, knowing how amazing they are and being able to show the world how amazing they are, but also working towards a more inclusive New Zealand.
For Katrina Matich, breaking into the workforce has been a personal journey, and it's led to some unique results. Katrina started life with a serious heart condition and underwent major corrective surgery at just 8 weeks old. Complications led to severe epilepsy and paralysis on one side of her body. Katrina also has a vision impairment. She spent much of her early life in hospital.
Growing up, the hospital was a second home. Because I spent so much time in and out of the hospital, I always wanted to be a nurse. Reality hit when I was 17 and realised that was not ever going to be an opportunity that I'd be able to deal with.
Instead, Katrina opted to use her experiences to support patients as an orderly, and she lifts their spirits through her passion for balloon art.
Balloons bring a lot of joy to people, so throughout the year I try and do different fundraising events with balloons. I make them for the patients and do them for the Christmas party.
6 years ago, Katrina started a new role in a sustainability project that sends hundreds of New Zealand's second-hand hospital beds and medical equipment to needy neighbouring countries. The project has recycled equipment that would otherwise have been destined for the dump.
They're gone to areas where some people have just been sleeping on the floor. They've had no mattress, no nothing, and the last lot ended up in Tonga.
Katrina's also a St John Cadets youth leader. Multiple awards testify to her impact within the organisation.
We all face our own challenges, so I want to be an inspiration to others and prove that goals can be conquered with a bit of work and thinking outside the square.
Like Katrina, Caleb Wright has had to get comfortable with hospitals at a young age.
I've almost won for it.
With everything that Caleb's been through, what he gives to us the most is an example of someone who has beaten all odds. He just pushes the bad stuff down and just carries on with life.
At 10 years old, Caleb underwent emergency surgery at Starship Hospital to relieve the pressure from a life-threatening brain tumour. Doctors didn't expect he'd recover.
I was mute for 6 weeks. I had to learn how to walk, talk, and eat. Those are the 3 main things. I still have trouble with walking. The fatigue makes me tired, and it's harder to do everything.
You don't even read it.
So now we have to do the whole thing.
Yeah, but you're gonna like...
A teacher aide and digital technology help with his schoolwork.
1 times 9. Well, most of our schoolwork is on an iPad or a computer, so there is not much paperwork. So with memory, I don't have to remember too much.
Caleb knows he will always live with the consequences of his tumour and maintains a positive mindset about his future possibilities. Last year, he became an ambassador for the Child Cancer Foundation. Like Katrina, Caleb is also using some of his resilient skills to bring a smile to others. He's put together his own soon-to-be-published book of jokes.
Why does it smell in autumn? Because the leaves blow off.
For groundbreaking performer Lucy Fiva, finding the lighter side of life took longer.
Talofa lava, Tina Kautau. Greetings, my name is Lucy Fiva. I'm a Samoan Kiwi-born performer with a disability, cerebral palsy, and I'm nonverbal.
Born with cerebral palsy, Lucy was placed in an institution at a young age. Because she was non-verbal, she received little stimulation. It was adoptive parents who eventually provided aroha, music, and support. And she flourished. With patience, Lucy learned to read, then type. Modern technology now allows her to share her unique perspective through dance. In the 1990s, she became one of the founding members of New Zealand's celebrated dance company, Touch Compass.
Believe that whatever it is, just let the power be your guide to drive you to connect to people so they can connect to you, leading them to learn the ability of their way of communication through dance.
Lucy and Touch Compass performed at the Sydney 2000 Paralympic Games. Lucy's personal story is encompassed in a performance titled Lucy's Eden. It's widely regarded as a company-defining work that Touch Compass toured over several years.
She's a beautiful performer because she can drop herself into the story at that moment, so she's able to go to a really important and deep emotive place really quickly, and I think really skilled performers are able to do that.
Lucy is regarded as a role model to all dancers. With her minimal mobility and hand function, Lucy draws the audience in.
I must say that life has not been a smooth journey. We had struggled on the way, but we are lucky that we've got supportive relatives and friends. I just enjoy living life from day to day. That's what makes it so fundamentally different for me to live with positive vibes every day.
That's Uncle Alan's.
Yes, it is.
And look at you, you clown. But there's Mum.
Yes.
And we must have been having a bottle of Lindy.
Pushing the boundaries of performance in her own way is young actress Libby Hunsdale. Born with Down syndrome, Libby was 14 when her mother passed away from brain cancer. Libby went to live with her grandparents, who spotted her natural talent for performing arts.
From a young age, Libby has always been a bit of a performer.
I just love dance 100%. I use all of my past traumas that I had and make a motif and turn it into a movement and use it as my emotion and my drive throughout the whole dance.
Libby has this incredible emotional intelligence. She understands the human condition, and I think that's why she's such a great performing artist.
This year, Libby played the lead role in soon-to-be-released New Zealand feature film, Poppy. Poppy is a young woman with Down syndrome navigating life. It was as if Libby had been training for this role her whole life.
It's all about the emotion and the emotional connection, and especially with your character. So with me and Poppy, her mum died, what's happened to me. When you have that strong power of empathy, that means that you can connect with the audience as well as your character very easily. Left foot brake, right foot gas.
Libby's now using her platform as an actress to encourage others living with Down syndrome to follow their dreams.
My dreams are big, wild and creative. People with Down syndrome can do this sort of stuff with that freedom which they need.
Following her dreams on the sports field is athlete Gina Hill. It's just 2 years since Gina took up running, accelerating from beginner to bronze medalist at the 2020 New Zealand Track and Field Championships.
Running is my happy place. I come alive on the track when I'm running down there, faster than cheetah.
Gina lives with cerebral palsy and has had to train her body and her mind. She needs to control her physical movements, so she has fluid motion when she runs.
Getting over the fear of I'm gonna face plant on the floor, that was hard. My legs used to go like and like that, and I used to be all over the show. And I just did it over and over and over again, and then I just got confident.
Gina's quick to credit coach Steve for his role in preparing her to compete at a national level.
She's come a long way, but it was a challenge at the start. Just getting her brain to work with her legs and to actually just use them. Now we're putting more load on her because her body can extend, and she's learning every single day.
Paralympic selectors are watching her rapid progress and recognise this athlete has plenty of potential.
To see her at a national championship 18 months after she started just brought tears to everybody's eyes.
When I'm running and I don't want to finish it, I'll yell, "Come on, finish it!" Like, yell at me to get me down the lane.
Step 9. Come on, these guys can come again.
Like Gina, Anna Taylor has the podium in her sights.
I'm working towards making the Paralympic team and medalling.
Anna was earmarked for sporting success from an early age. After competing nationally in school rowing, Anna earned a scholarship to row for Oregon University in America, but ill health intervened. In 2011, Anna was diagnosed with thyroid cancer. After intensive treatment, she went into remission. But her sports dreams were thwarted again by a labral tear in her hip. In a third round of bad luck, she sustained a back injury, which led to emergency surgery and lasting weakness in both legs.
Part of me was quite excited that I'd faced the biggest challenge of my life, and then having come through the other side of that, and then to have a life-altering injury, I think that was a big mind game.
Paracycling helped Anna Taylor accept her disability and ensured sport remains a vital part of what she describes as her new normal.
I've been in sport since I was a toddler, so when I originally got sick, it was never an option not to continue with sport. And so when I found the outlet for cycling, It allowed me to get back into the world that I know and what makes you feel alive.
Anna's undeniable courage is matched by a gritty determination to secure Paralympic glory. Sport can be hugely transformative, something Thomas Tuki also knows from personal experience. Thomas was 17 when he became blind due to a genetic disorder. The gutsy teenager was facing a massive change of life, but made it clear to everyone around him he intended to be independent.
It was a real big adjustment. I had to dig within myself to rebuild confidence, self-esteem, and to gather thoughts what I'm going to do for the future.
A keen sportsman, Thomas found a new outlet in disability sports. He competes throughout the country and has represented New Zealand internationally.
With the blind sports, I did cricket, goalball, hockey, rugby, soccer, temping, indoor bowls, swimming.
The now 60-year-old volunteers for the Rotorua chapter of Achilles International. He supports athletes living with disabilities to set and achieve their goals.
If they need any guidance, or I can set them up or help them towards their goals, Achilles, I'm always there, available, whether it's fundraising or setting up. You know, 2 good arms, 2 strong legs. And
These are just some of the incredible finalists who are up for an Attitude Award in 2020, honouring the many achievements of the disability community in New Zealand. To see the full list of finalists, head to attitudeawards.org. And don't miss the 1-hour awards night special at 4 p.m. on Sunday, the 13th of December.